FIFA held crisis talks this weekend after Israel and the United States attacked Iran, who replied with military actions across the Gulf and elsewhere. I'm sure you've seen all the footage and that. But Iran's main team have, of course, qualified for...
In about 6 weeks, soccer's biggest party arrives in North America for the first time in 32 years. 48 teams, 16 cities, over 1 million fans flying in. It's supposed to be a celebration. But according to a Human Rights Watch report released on April 10th, US Immigration and Customs Enforcement has already arrested at least 167,000 people in and around the 11 American host cities between the day Donald Trump took office in January 2025 and March of this year. That's not a typo, that's the warm-up. The same cities that are about to host hundreds of thousands of foreign fans. Houston, 26,000 arrests. Dallas, 22,000. Atlanta, nearly 14,000. Now Trump has paused immigrant visa processing for 75 countries, including at least 15 with teams playing in this tournament, and personally told the Iranian national team on Truth Social that they should not come to the World Cup, quote, for their own life and safety. And right now, behind closed doors, senior FIFA executives are reportedly begging their president to call Trump and ask him to please, just for 39 days, stop the ICE raids near our stadiums. He hasn't agreed. Neither has Trump. This is what the road to the 2026 World Cup actually looks like, and almost nobody is talking about how completely the United States is breaking the rules that hosting requires. To understand how we got here, you have to go back to 2018. In Moscow that June, FIFA awarded the 2026 World Cup to the joint bid from the US, Canada, and Mexico, beating Morocco by a vote of 134 to 65. According to the official 2026 World Cup documentation, this was supposed to be something genuinely new. It was the first World Cup ever awarded with human rights bidding requirements built in. Host cities had to submit human rights action plans. There was a mandatory human rights framework imposed on every committee. The bid promised this tournament would be open, inclusive, a celebration of 3 nations linking arms. In 2016, when the US signed on to host part of this, Donald Trump was running his first campaign. The country looked different. The world looked different. Then Trump returned to the White House in January 2025, and every single one of those promises started to unravel. Meet Gianni Infantino. He is the president of FIFA. He is supposed to be the international face of football neutrality. Since Trump took office, Infantino has done the following: attended the inauguration, made multiple appearances in the Oval Office, joined Trump at meetings of his self-styled Board of Peace, posed at a UFC event in Miami, donned a red MAGA hat in October of 2025, and pledged FIFA money to Trump's Gaza redevelopment plan. And then in December 2025, at the World Cup group stage draw at the Kennedy Center, Infantino personally awarded Donald Trump the inaugural, quote, FIFA Peace Prize, a real award that actually exists, that FIFA invented in 2025, to give to Donald Trump. The New Republic, in an April piece, put it about as bluntly as you can. They described Infantino's behavior over 15 months as, quote, slavishly following Trump like an Italian golden retriever. That relationship is the only reason any of what comes next makes sense. Because everything that follows, every policy, every threat, every empty human rights action plan, happens with the FIFA president silently nodding along. Okay, here is where it gets technical. Stay with me because this matters. The Trump administration has built 3 overlapping immigration policies that, stacked together, will lock thousands of fans out of this World Cup, even though the official line is that everything is fine. In November 2025, after an Afghan national shot 2 National Guardsmen on a Washington, D.C. street, the administration paused USCIS adjudications for people from 39 countries: Nigeria, Venezuela, Myanmar, others. NPR reported this past Monday, on April 28th, that hundreds of thousands of people who were already inside the United States, students, doctors, oil and gas engineers, have been thrown into legal limbo. One Nigerian woman quoted in NPR's piece had just matched into a surgery residency in Oregon. She can't start it. Her work permit is frozen. On January 15, 2026, the State Department added a separate, indefinite pause on immigrant visa processing for 75 countries. ABC News confirmed the list includes Brazil, Colombia, Senegal, Nigeria, Egypt, all participating in this World Cup. The administration says tourist visas aren't affected. Athletes are exempt. Don't worry, they tell you. But that ignores the third layer, the existing full and partial travel bans. As of right now, fans from Iran and Haiti, both qualified, cannot enter the United States at all. Fans from Senegal and Ivory Coast face partial bans. Their players can come, their families and supporters often cannot. So when the White House says tourist visas aren't affected, this won't impact the World Cup. They're using one true sentence to hide the whole structure underneath it. On March 12th of this year, Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social, quote, "The Iran national soccer team is welcome to the World Cup, but I really don't believe it is appropriate that they be there for their own life and safety," end quote. That is the President of the United States, the country hosting the majority of this World Cup, publicly telling a national team that he cannot guarantee their safety in his own country. Since 1972, since the Munich Olympics, when Palestinian militants murdered 11 members of the Israeli Olympic team, there has been a basic, unspoken rule of international sport. Host nations protect athletes. All athletes, from any country, regardless of politics. That is the deal. That is why hosts get the World Cup in the first place. According to NBC News and ESPN, Iran was scheduled to play 3 group stage matches in the United States this June, against New Zealand and Belgium in Los Angeles, and against Egypt in Seattle. The Iranian team responded the next day. Quote, "No individual can exclude a country from the World Cup," and they suggested the United States should not be hosting if it cannot guarantee safety. That was reported by Al Jazeera and ESPN. Iran's sports minister, Ahmad Donyamali, had already said on state television that Iran would not be participating. Because this is, according to Reuters translation, quote, "This corrupt regime has assassinated our leader." He was referring to the US-Israel airstrikes on Iran that began on February 28th, which, according to Wikipedia's documentation of the conflict and the UK House of Commons library briefing, killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, within the first day. By April 8th, a fragile ceasefire was brokered by Pakistan. It has been violated by both sides. Iran is still partially blockading the Strait of Hormuz. Israel launched a major operation in Lebanon called, and I'm not making this up, Operation Eternal Darkness, that killed at least 357 people in the middle of a supposed truce. We are about 6 weeks from kickoff, and one of the host countries is currently in a war with one of the participating teams. Now you might think, well, the war with Iran is unique. The relationships with the other co-hosts must at least be solid, right? They are not. In January of this year, the United States carried out a military operation in Venezuela, one of the qualified World Cup nations. According to Sport Bible and Give Me Sports reporting, US forces captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, indicted him on drug and weapons charges, and Trump announced the US would, quote, run Venezuela's oil infrastructure. In a press conference around that operation, Trump turned to Colombia, also a qualified World Cup nation, and said this, quote, "Colombia's government, run by President Gustavo Petro, is, quote, very sick, and, quote, likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you," end quote. That language was widely interpreted by reporters at Give Me Sport and Sport Bible as a threat of similar military action. Trump also issued warnings to Mexico, the country hosting the opening match of this World Cup. The opening match, on June 11th at Estadio Azteca, and he has spent months attacking Canada, the third co-host, over a bridge dispute, alcohol distribution, and a long list of grievances Sport Bible documented in February. So just to recap the official tournament partnerships, the United States is currently in an active military situation with one participating nation, has captured the president of another, has threatened invasion-style operations against a third, and is feuding with both of its co-hosts. This is unusual. Okay, now the hardest part. Let's go back to that number, 167,000. That's the number of people Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested in and around the 11 US host cities between January 20th, 2025 and March 10th, 2026, according to a Human Rights Watch report released April 10th, based on ICE data they obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request and analyzed in partnership with the Deportation Data Project. Houston, 26,483 arrests. Dallas, 22,388. Atlanta, 13,985. In Houston, Dallas, and Atlanta, local law enforcement has signed what are called 287G agreements, meaning local police are deputized to enforce federal immigration law. In Georgia, under state law HB 1105 from 2024, the Atlanta Police Department is required to comply with immigration status checks for certain misdemeanors. Last June, in Los Angeles, Human Rights Watch documented federal officers firing tear gas, pepper balls, hard foam rounds, and flashbang grenades directly at protesters, journalists, and other observers at protests against immigration raids. And here's the part nobody is talking about. This isn't theoretical. At the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup final, which was a dress rehearsal for this tournament, held in the United States, ICE detained a fan, a paying fan, initially arrested for a minor civil offense, reported by Human Rights Watch in their April briefing. In Minneapolis this past January, 2 US citizens, Renee Nicole Good and Alex Pretty, were killed during ICE operations. According to Washington Post analysis cited in Morocco World News and other outlets, ICE arrests jumped to roughly 1,000 a day in the weeks after Minneapolis. The Washington Post analysis found that nearly half of those arrested had no criminal record. Trump withdrew 700 ICE officers from Minnesota after the public backlash. He did not pause operations. 2 weeks ago, on April 14th, The Athletic broke a story that has barely registered in mainstream US coverage. According to 4 sources familiar with the conversations, quoted by The Athletic, picked up by Jerusalem Post, Al Jazeera, Morocco World News, and several others, senior FIFA executives have been pressuring Gianni Infantino to do one specific thing: ask the President of the United States to please, for the 39 days the World Cup is happening, suspend ICE operations, not just at the stadiums, across all 11 host cities, a full moratorium. ICE's acting director, Todd Lyons, was asked about this directly at a House hearing in February. He refused to commit. His exact framing was that ICE will be, quote, a key part of the overall security apparatus for the World Cup. The White House spokesperson, Davis Ingle, declined to confirm the FIFA request when The Athletic asked. He instead released a statement praising Trump's leadership and saying the World Cup will be, quote, the greatest and most spectacular event in the history of mankind, end quote. In Los Angeles, the union Unite Here, Local 11, which represents food service workers at SoFi Stadium, where 8 World Cup matches are scheduled, has said they will go on strike unless FIFA assures them that ICE and Border Patrol will play no role in the tournament. Their position, paraphrasing from their public statement, the people serving you hot dogs at the World Cup deserve to not be deported by their own government during their shift. And on top of all of this, Human Rights Watch reported on April 10th that 15 of the 16 World Cup host city committees have either failed to deliver the human rights action plans that FIFA required as a condition of hosting, or have submitted plans that ignore the risks. Los Angeles, host of the US opening match, host of 8 games at SoFi, the city where federal officers were filmed firing pepper balls at journalists last June, has not published a human rights action plan at all. Here is what a fan trying to attend this World Cup actually walks into. If you are a Brazilian fan with a tourist visa, you can probably get in, but you will be entering a country where immigration enforcement is the most aggressive it has been in modern history. And where, if you happen to look like the wrong kind of person to a deputized cop in Houston or Dallas, you can be flagged for a 287G check. If you are an Iranian fan, you cannot enter at all. If you are a Senegalese fan, you face partial restrictions, longer screening, and uncertainty. If you are a Mexican fan crossing for the opening match, your country's president was just publicly threatened by the country running half the tournament. Meanwhile, FIFA, in the same press release announcing record-breaking ticket demand of 15 million ticket requests per day, told fans they should, quote, submit visa applications as early as possible, 6 weeks out, from a country where the visa apparatus is, by the State Department's own admission, processing under a series of pauses and reviews. That is the experience being sold as the greatest celebration in the history of mankind. Look, a World Cup is a mirror. It always is. Russia 2018 told us what an authoritarian regime looks like when it's trying to launder its image through soccer. Qatar 2022 told us what happens when a country with no soccer history buys the tournament. And what 2026 is showing us, about 6 weeks out in real time, is what happens when the host of the world's biggest sporting event is, in the words of the New Republic, more authoritarian than it was when it won the bid. The deal Donald Trump and Gianni Infantino have at this point is very clear. Trump gets to stand on the world's biggest sporting stage as a strongman. Infantino gets to make a record-breaking amount of money. FIFA confirmed at the December 2025 council meeting in Doha that the prize purse is the largest in tournament history. And in exchange, FIFA looks the other way while ICE arrests 1,000 people a day in cities that, in 6 weeks, are supposed to welcome the world. The matches will happen, the goals will be scored, people will cheer. Some of those people will not get to leave when they hope to. That's the World Cup the United States is hosting in 2026. And whatever happens between now and June 11th, whatever last-minute pause or PR fix Infantino manages to extract from his friend in the White House, that is already true. If you want to keep up with what's actually happening with this tournament, the stuff that is not in the FIFA promo videos, subscribe. Next week, I'm digging into what the host cities can still legally do to push back, and which ones already are. Sources for everything in this video are linked in the description. Read them, don't take my word. See you in the next one.